Thunder rolls distant, dark clouds loom. Steel clashes, twilight echoes boom. Sons of war bear hopes flag high, march to fire, never shy. Battle drums pound in our hearts, charge into fray, leave fear apart.
Warning, this is not your normal Mr. Rogers neighborhood. If you're looking for calm voices, cardigans, and feel-good life lessons, turn around now. What you're about to hear, see and read may include cussing, ranting, and some wildly unfiltered thoughts. I don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth, and honestly, I'm not here to babysit your feelings. Buckle up, Buttercup, let's go.
It's a beautiful day in this RC world. A wonderful day to be heard. Would you share yours? Could you share yours? Someone always wants a racer just like you. Who's got thoughts and ideas they want to share? It's true. So let's make the most of this badass podcast. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you share your opinion? Could you share your opinion? Please, won't you share on in my opinion? Won't you please, please, please share on the show? We're waiting to hear your thoughts, you know. On In My Opinion, a podcast for you, where every perspective, bold and new, helps our whole RC community grow. Oh.
All right, guys, we're back tonight. It's going to be an interesting one, I promise you. I have a co-host tonight, which is normally not what I do, but things happen and you got to do what you got to do. Let me see if I can find a button here. You should be able to see her down there in the corner now. So she will be with us for a while tonight, if not all night. Doesn't change anything. We still do what we do, so don't worry about all that mess. But Lexiana, aka Sissy, aka whatever, she is here tonight with us. So she'll be hanging out with us all night, getting it done. We'll see how that works out for us. What's everybody up to tonight? I don't know when my chat's gonna be my chat's gonna be up tonight, guys. We'll just read them off as we used to. When my chats come out, they updated, so we'll see how things are. How's audio tonight for everybody? Yeah, tell them, baby. How's audio tonight for everybody? Good? We got the IT department over here fighting. Sissy's hanging out with us. So, Kevin's building shocks. What's up, baby? You want to come to me? Hang on, let's turn this around. Maybe this will help us a little bit. Yeah. There. You're going to be into everything. All right. Guys, we are doing what we always do, guys. We are talking topics. We're going to go through attendance. We're going to fight the good fight here tonight. Yep. You're up here with me. In my opinion, as always, It gets crazy. We do our thing, take care of business, and we'll have a damn good time. Dank, how you doing after the incident this weekend, buddy? We'll talk about that a little bit. And nothing bad, just what happens, life. So, here we go. Let's get this going, guys. I'm going to probably be way out of my element tonight because I've got some stuff going on. But let's get into attendance. Attendance is what we're going to go. Guys, we had one outdoor race, or actually two outdoor races this weekend, still firing off. That's, yeah. And we'll talk about it, Dank. I have, there's stuff going on for that. Okay. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that had that same problem. Okay. Outdoor races, 5-star ran an off-road race this weekend, 29 and 55. County Line finished their season off outdoors today with a 13 and a 28. So down in Missouri, they're a little warmer probably down there than we are up here. And then you get into the indoor stuff, guys. There's a lot of indoor stuff going on. In my opinion, the big start is coming this weekend with PTs going on. That's going to be a huge race. So if you're not at PTs this weekend, you're probably not where most guys are going to be. Okay. Thunderdome, I went up there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 25 and 42 on the big oval. Limestone had a 22 and a 44. Slideways had a 45 and a 110. Brickhouse had the Wild Thing shootout race for 55 and a 104. Hoosier Hobbies did a Tuesday night deal with a 30 and a 40. High Side, they had their massacre race. It's a 33 and a 60. Dirt Devil Indoors, they did an indoor deal this week, 25 and a 55. And Lower Level, they did racing also on the oval, a 16 and a 37. This week's race is a 293 entries and 572 cars. Thanks, Russell. I was going to call you or message you earlier and I forgot. Russell said they had 32 at the Rusty Cup, which is great for those guys. It's probably as big as he wants it to be, maybe a little bit more, but you get too many in there at a small track, we're going to be in trouble with that deal. So really a good weekend of indoor racing, a little bit outdoor, a lot of indoor racing. So it was good to see those guys get it done. Finish up the outdoor and let's roll into indoor heavy, hot and heavy. Okay. So that's where we're at on that deal, guys. We went up north. We went up to Thunderdome, watched the carpet banked oval. JJ and those guys up there, or Jason Hainline, if you know him by that, went up there, watched their stuff. It was good, guys. The best cars, in my opinion, for that track right now, I think the Buggy Street Stocks are a little bit big. They ran them. They had 3 out there. They ran 3 of them, but they're kind of big on that track. I think the NASCARs are really cool. I think the Legend stuff is really good. The RJ Speed stuff, I think it's really good. I think they'll have no problem running that stuff. But other than that, it was really good. Ran pretty smooth. There was some little bit of problems with the computer just because they don't run laps normally on the big oval or on the big track. So when they put them out there, they had some trouble with just settings. No big deal. I helped Mike. We got through a little bit of it, and what we didn't, we'll work on this week, and they'll do it too. That's just part of doing what we do, guys. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes you got to take care of it and get things done. Okay. But a great show. It was a success, as I put on the page earlier this weekend. It was a success. So don't think that carpet banked oval is not going to be badass. It is, and it ran really well. Yeah, tell them. But you want that? Drink? They did that. Hey man, no problem, JJ. JJ says work on the legends as I listen, and thanks for helping Mike. Hey man, I've been there. Shriners race, man, we were scrambling, and me and Aaron and Van Ice was in here, Scuba was in here. I mean, there's a lot of us in here getting it done. And when something happens, you figure it out as you go, and you ask who you need to ask. And Mike just asked me. I could help him with one part, couldn't with the other. But that's how it works. And it got better. So nothing to me. I just have ran into the same problem. I put up an email from them, and they told me how to do it. So, well, baby, you're okay. They told me how to do it. So that's how it is. Okay. We got that done. So good time, good group of guys up there. 13.5 sprints is, I think, is what I put up there. On foams is what I put on my my TikTok for the page, and they were fast, crazy fast. So it was good. Scuba says, JJ, how is it going to do? How is going to do, and who's going to do the show? So, yeah, I got you. Who's going to do the show on the 29th with Mike off for surgery? I'm sure they'll get somebody to make it happen. Let's see where we're at. Sorry, guys. I'm flipping around here trying to find stuff. So yeah. But other than that, it's going to be a pretty good run. I think that's going to be a fun track to hit. I think if you have a NASCAR, or if you feel like building a cheap Legends car, hey, you're all right. You're all right. If you feel like building a cheap Legends car, you should probably do that and get up there and race. That is a breakout class on the Legends. So, excuse me. So, JJ said I think he said he'd only be down a few days. So that won't be too bad. Yeah, you're okay. Up here. Well, come here. Come here. Give me squishy. Come on. You want up here? That better? No. You can't touch that. So, but that's how. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get it figured out. And if they need some help, just let me know, JJ, if you need help. Okay. Another race, guys, the Wild Thing race over in Indiana. That's what I was just talking to Dank about. If you guys haven't seen it, he did have a lipo fire. No fault of his, but he did have a lipo fire. No fault of the tracks, no fault of the promoters. I don't know how it happened or what happened to it. Normally, that's enough. Normally, when that happens, it's because of impact, puncture, something like that. Usually is what causes that more so than anything. I have heard of it happen when somebody hooked a battery charger up backwards. I've heard that before, but just so you guys know, it can happen to any of us. Okay, it can happen to anybody. So this is kind of a not shameless plug. I'm never going to say anything bad about this. Go back and watch the live RC or the RC Underground where Dave has the 2 episodes with the guys. Okay, but that'll be you're obviously that'll be that's a good episodes, and it talks about those lipo fires and what happens with them. So, and there's going to be more to come, I believe, from Dave, the way he talks. So, if that's something that it can happen to any of us, guys. Luckily, I think most guys have averted that and not had too many lipo fires. But if you've ever had one, man, they're hot, they're fast, and they continue to burn for a long, long time. So, that's something that you need to think about. All right? So, get that done. Brinkman's on here. TJ, let me know They were sitting talking about the lipo episode when it happened. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It doesn't matter, you know. It can happen to anybody for any reason. Don't think you're out of the woods because you've never had a lipo fire and you've been doing this for 30 years. You never know what happens, right? Something bad can happen, change can happen, and then you can be there. You know what I mean? What do you need, baby? What do you want? This? There you go. You're okay. You're okay. So, it can happen to anybody. So, guys, very serious moment in the podcast, which doesn't happen a whole lot unless I get pissed off or fired up. Be safe with the batteries. A regular extinguisher won't work. A fire blanket won't work. A bucket of sand will contain it, but the off gases are the problem. Okay? So, a bucket of sand might help you get it out the door if you're careful and don't get burnt by it. But there are ways to make that better. And watch that episode and talk about it. Had one at High Road, didn't get the balance plug in or on the bag, yeah. And so guys, so there's a whole lot of information there, okay? Some through the podcast, we are going to try to give away a few small bottles. There is a small bottle available. It looks about the size of a paint can. We have some ordered to give to some of these indoor tracks. I have heard dish soap also, Tommy. I've never tried it, but I've heard it. So my opinion would be is to buy this extinguisher. We will do some giveaways for racers for some extinguishers to have on your persons also. We will do that in the future. I want to get a couple cans of some tracks that are indoor tracks first, so that way they might have it available if somebody needs it. Okay? What do you need, baby? All right? But I have heard dish soap. I just heard that this weekend. Actually at High Road here, or at the Thunderdome. Okay? Yeah, you see you? So, all right. You're going to sit down. We're done with that deal. All right? All right, guys. So that's where we're at on that. Sorry, I got the distraction tonight, but that's okay. It is what it is. She'll be okay over here. What else do we got? That was a big deal. They had a great turnout. So I don't want to take away from the turnout by one incident. You know what I mean? One incident that happened. I don't want that to be it. They had 104. I don't want one little incident to be, oh, that's the worst thing in the world. It's not. But it's just a reality that it can happen at any time. Anything can happen. So make sure that however you look at that, you take care of your own stuff. And if you have a racer next to you that has a problem, you can help them take care of theirs too. Okay? The other thing we'll talk about is let's get into some races that's coming up. Okay? There's a lot of races coming up. There's a lot of indoor stuff happening. Okay? Let's get to that real quick. All right. Dirt Devil. Dirt Devil's got the King of the Bull Ring coming up on the 8th. Battle Creek, Michigan. If you guys want to get up that way, or if you are up that way listening, make sure you go check their stuff out. Get that done. Okay. Next up, Brick House. They have a club race coming up this weekend. Go Fast. They got a club race coming this weekend. Slideways. They're club racing this weekend. A lot of club races, guys. Limestone, they're indoor club racing. So it sounds like wherever you want to be, guys, there's plenty of places you can go club racing. Indiana and Illinois, North and South in Illinois, both are club racing, so you have room to go there. Same way with Indiana, Brick House or Go Fast are both racing indoor. Okay, if you guys want to hit those up. And then, in my opinion, the start to the indoor season is right there. PTs, the World 100. Definitely something that you, if you've never been to PTs or never raced there, it is definitely something you should do. There's a lot going on at PTs. There's going to be a big turnout, I'm sure. First time that track opening this summer. So make sure you guys get out there and get out there and get that done if that's what you need to do. Okay. In my opinion, that track has probably the closest thing to outdoor racing you're going to get in this area that I've been to. And I'm not bagging on anybody's track if they're not there. Okay. But that's what it looks like. Okay. Let me get back to the other screen here. So those are our races coming up. Prelude to the Rumble is 26 days or so. Yeah, it's coming. We'll talk about that. The Prelude's coming real quick. That's Black Friday, I believe, or the day after, something like that. Let's see. Dave Brinkman says, negative on the dish soap. Cells are still building heat. We will be showing soon on the show. Heat continues in sand, salt water, and dish soap, etc. We all had to run the same gear. Oh, you're talking about Legend stuff, Dennis? Yeah. What's up, Rick? Getting dark at 5:30 sucks. Well, it didn't bother me none. I worked all morning, so it is what it is. All right, so there's that, guys. That's what's coming up. Oh yeah, watching the baby tonight. Mama and her mom both had to go, so I'm here. Yep. She'll give you. I promise you, she'll give you some audio tonight, guys. If you're wearing earbuds, I'm sorry, not really. You'll live with it. So there's your racing. Okay. Plenty out there this weekend. If you want to be with the guys, a lot of the fast guys, I promise you, a lot of the fast guys are going to be at PTs. You want it? A lot of the fast guys are going to be at PTs. Yeah, the cat. I see him. All right. Ooh. Let's see what else I got on my books here real quick. Guys, just to get back real quick on this deal with Dave talking about the dish soap not being a good idea, and I agree. I didn't know that lipos build their own oxygen essentially. So if you try to smother it, it's still building heat. It's still cooking because it builds its own oxygen as it burns. Okay. So that's kind of where I think the problem comes in with all that. Okay. What, baby? All right. Let's get the question of the week here. Guys, I'm going to need help on this one because I don't have an answer. It is a technical question that I don't have the answer to. And I ain't afraid to say it, but I know there's guys on here right now that will be able to tell us. Okay? Do some moving around here. There you go. There it is. Mike Cusack Jr. says, when changing gears with a spur or a pinion, is there a difference if you get the same final ratio? Nice. Who can help me with that? In theory, and I don't know anything about it, guys. I'm ignorant to this fact, but I've looked at the exact same thing. And you can get really close by changing a pinion and a spur to get them back the same number. So, with that being said, does it give you more torque with the pinion different and the spur different? Is there a different? How does that work? Better or worse? Does it build more heat in the motor? Does it build less heat in the motor? What happens there? Depending on spur pinion size, is that something that is really? I mean, it's a good question. I like the question. I've wondered the same thing myself. But is there an advantage to changing gear ratio pinion over spur? And I think everybody can kind of get what he's asking. And you get close to the same gear ratio, but you have to run a bigger pinion, smaller spur. You switch around, you put a smaller pinion on it, or a smaller spur and a bigger pinion. What do you get? You get about the same. How does that affect the vehicle? Rick says, I've heard if you overgear, it heats the motor up. Agreed, but which way? Yeah. But which way does it do it? Yeah. What do you want? You want your bear? You want that? All right. Sit down. You want to sit down and hold him? Well, here you go. You can't have them all. There ain't room on that chair. So, anyway, final drive is final drive. Drake says, okay. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know if it made a difference. Just whatever your final ratio is your final ratio. Okay. Tommy says, I think a gear ratio is a gear ratio no matter what each gear size is. Okay. I ran an 8623 at a really small track on a 12-turn. Yeah. Moves the motor forward or backwards. Well, weight movement, although very small. Agreed, Jason. I agree with that. I see that too. You got it. So anyway, good question. Anybody that comes on later and has a comment for it, make sure you put it in there. I would see it. I would think it would be more so on. My opinion is I think it would heat the motor more if you had a bigger spur in it or a bigger pinion in it. But that's me. I don't know that. Just because of the way it is, but maybe not. Closer to 1-to-1. But there it is. All right. Good question, Mike. Smaller spur also means less rotational weight on the drivetrain. Green? Okay. Just all good questions, guys. I mean, it's just stuff guys don't think about a lot, or maybe you do think about, and maybe you don't know who to ask or talk about or talk to about it. Here it is. Put it out there. There's nothing to be ashamed about it. Okay. We're rolling right along here. 30 minutes in tonight. Guys, I was going to be real easy on topics tonight. I talked to some guys about it. We had talked about going light on everybody and making it a nice, easy conversation tonight, and nobody get hurt or in their feelings or anything like that. And Rick says, I was told to run a 7721, didn't have one, so I ran a 7820 and was told it was a different gear ratio. So I don't know, Rick. Like I say, that's something for bigger brain than me. Because I agree with you. I think it's, I don't know, gear ratio is gear ratio, but I don't know. It just seems odd. Oh, baby. Yeah, you can have him. Let's go to here. Topic of the week, guys. Nice and easy topic of the week this week. Hot topics. Guys, what I did was I told you I was going to make it easy. And one of them is going to be easy, and the rest of it is going to be kind of, I'm sure, going to be somewhat controversial, which is fine with me, too. You know me, I don't care. All I'm here to do is pull stuff out, and go from there. No deep end. Oh, will be a deep end, promise you. Simple way to check his divided spur and opinion, yes. And then it is a confusing topic. It is. I mean, I just think there's more to it than what most people think. Or maybe there isn't, and maybe I'm overthinking it. And Dennis says it is, but not much of a bunch of difference on that gear ratio you're just talking about. Let's see here. Hot topics, guys. Hot topics is where we are at. Let's start this deal off. I'm sorry. Well, let's do the easy one first. Guys, we've done this one other time a little bit, and guys put out a bunch of cool pictures. What's up, Alyssa? Guys put out a bunch of pictures and stuff. Where'd you guys start? With the vintage race the other night, last weekend, 2 weekends ago in Vegas with the off-road guys. Did anybody watch that? I did. I thought it was really cool to see some of the old guys out racing. And obviously a lot of the new guys, new kids out there too. But I wonder if that got me thinking, where'd everybody start at? Dave talked on his podcast about starting, in a parking lot. Put them on in a parking lot. What did everybody do? Did you start off in 8th scale? Did you start off in this like I did? A lot of guys I know raced up a Moni. It just got me thinking, where does all of it come from? Where did we start this? I was talking to a guy yesterday at the Thunderdome, and he was talking old school about it and how it used to be bigger, more of a national thing for Dirt Oval also maybe, and how it worked. So very interesting to me. So as we go along, guys, if you guys want to put in the comments about what's up with that, 10 scale carpet, yeah. Just where you started, how you got started, what track you started on. I don't need the IT department too. So it's a circus here today, guys. Just an idea, right? Just thoughts. If you guys want to throw pictures back up again on the posts, you can. If somebody wants to start a post on the page and say, hey guys, put your pictures up of where you started and what you did, that's fine too. Mark Lars said Rick's RC and Streeter back in the day on carpet. A lot of guys came from Big Car. I know Mark came from Big Car too, so that's really cool to me, and understandable. Yeah, it's all right, Rick. Multitasker extraordinaire. Indoor off-road 10 scale. Where was that at, Orange Crush? Good weekend of racing too. It was good to see you and Jeremy and Scoop and all of them. Yeah, so you were back when Brad was in town. Matt says started racing with a stock slash Modern Brad's backyard. I would assume that was whenever Brad was in town. That's pretty cool. I never got to that track. It was before my time. You're all right, baby. Tommy says started with an original Grasshopper, modified the shell out, and ran the original Thunderdome in Joliet. That's cool. Marty's and Bradley, Orange says. 10 scale donut track for Rick. Matt says, yeah, that was that backyard when Brad was in town. Chris says it started in 19 with a slash B mod 12 turn street stock at Hoosier RC Raceway, small backyard track. closed, and I still race the street, stock, and others. Dank said he started on 10th scale high bite indoor clay. Van Ice is a 94 Midwestern Triclone in West Bend, Wisconsin. Trial asphalt. Trial asphalt track and indoor carpet oval. Guys, have you guys seen the new asphalt on road? It'll be coming to the Chicagoland. That thing looks badass. Big Cars and Elliot's Hobbies in Kokomo with a Bowlink Eliminator sprint car from Kevin Smith. Drake says, my dad raced big cars. I found a 10 scale off-road track close to home and could afford a used short course truck. I couldn't afford a big car. Yeah. Guys, that's a big part of it is there's so much you can do with these little ones, just like the big cars. Well, baby. Just like the big cars. So a lot of guys do that just as much. Yeah, it's okay. You want me to have it? I got you. Yeah. Him over here. So, but yeah. Guys, it's just cool. It's just cool to hear. It's cool to see where it all starts. Where guys go with it, how they get bigger, better. And you move up. Or you don't. Again, that comment comes up a lot. Why ain't I moving up? Why ain't you moving up? Guys, you don't have to. Tommy says the 86 RC10 gold pan car cut up the pan to make it an oval car. Four Seasons Raceway and Omni Ovals. Thunderdome and Joliet. Back when Hoover's Hobbies and Pat's Eye Hobbies and Oak Lawn were around. Raced Moni until 94. Took a break and came back about 5 years ago. Weasel says he's an off-road racer at Leisure's and then moved to Impact and Morris and started B-Mod at the Impact Bull Ring. Sam says, my dad and I raced the HPI Savage SS at the Grand Prairie Mall outside of Hobbytown, USA in Peoria. Steiger said, learned something new this weekend. Who's heard of RC Garage? If you haven't, go search your name and it'll give you your race stats over the last 13 years. Pretty interesting. That was mentioned this last week on here, Matt, and you're right. I didn't go look at it. I mean, I went on it, but I didn't bring it all the way up. But yeah, very interesting that's there when we were talking about doing points. That was after the Speedos came out, I think. Drake said Jason said, Drake, all that beer the last 2 years you could afford a race car, LOL. Well, that's maybe true too. Jason said, Matt, I've heard of it. It's pretty cool stats. Yeah, I would like to see it. I mean, I need to go on there and do it and see what it looks like for some of the guys. Just because, if you guys went on here last week, we're trying to figure out how to do a points or rankings of, I don't know if that fan submission's out, Matt, from last week that came out on Monday. Not many people seen that, thank goodness. My first car didn't have an ESC. It was a resistor controlled by a servo. Wow, interesting. See, that's the cool shit that I don't understand because I'm too young in the hobby. Weasel said, I've been telling people for 2 years about the RC Garage. Was you the one who mentioned it last week, Weasel? Somebody mentioned it last week when we were talking about points and stuff. I'm trying to figure that out and how to do it the best. So, yeah, that's very interesting. Go on there and check it out, guys. See what it's about. So that's there. Okay. Very interesting to see where everybody started. And that's cool to hear and see. Talk to everybody about that stuff because it's where the hobby came from. You know what I mean? And it's grown and shrunk and grown and shrunk, and it will. It takes cycles. So we talked a little bit about this. Up at Thunderdome, they had a little bit of problem with the timing system. Nothing big. Nothing major at all. But there's also a problem at Brick House, from what I understand. I don't know the details and don't really care. And I'm not bagging on them for it. It happens. It happened here, guys. We did the same thing. Van Ice says, my first ESC was a wiper arm type speed controller, very big on the 12 scales. But you're okay, baby. They had so that, there is a problem. You know what I mean? If something happens, whether it be a loop, whether it be your times are too low or too high and they're clicking them off, how is that handled? I feel like everybody from the Brick House that I've seen post about it or talk about it seems to be like the Brick House did a good job too, and they should. I mean, they understand it, They're no slouch in this deal, right? So, with that being said, what do you guys expect? How do you guys expect that to be handled? I mean, is there an expectation there, or is it just the track handles it? As long as it's fair, we're good. I think it's fair. I don't think there's a set way it should be handled. I just feel like the track should handle it, right? But as we spoke on here before, guys, live time, live RC, whatever you want to call that whole deal, there is a lot going on. A whole lot going on in that deal that you could definitely get better with. And I think a lot of it is just knowledge and understanding how it works and like what settings are what. There's so much on there we don't know anything about or know how to use or what to do with. I'm sure there's guys out there that do, but a lot of us guys that haven't been doing it for a long time, or we change how we do something, it makes a big difference. And then guys can't figure out how to do it. Okay. So just a question, just a thought is all I have with that is how does that change? I think, in my opinion, a track should just be fair with it and upfront. And I assume that's what happened at Brick House. Like I said, I didn't talk to them any. I just read some posts about it, and it was there. So, up at Lincoln, Illinois, and LiPo went up. The person did not take it out of the car. Shame on him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to take care of the batteries, guys. Handle the best of your capabilities. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest part of it is just handle it. You know what I mean? Upfront, honest, and handle it. That's how I see it. And not saying anything bad about any tracks. Not at all. It's going to happen to every one of you out there. It's happened to every track that I know of. They've had a timing issue at some point. It's just the nature of the beast. It's what happens. Okay? So make sure as a racer that you understand that. I think that's more the point to it than anything. I had to call in Friday to get the camera working on the oval. They were very helpful when you get them on the phone. Yes, Live RC and Live Time both are very good once you get them on the phone. The problem is, like, when we were here for the Shriner race and we had all that problem, the problem came into we were ready. We were ready to go and couldn't get through to somebody. And then whenever they got to me, it was kind of a feces festival because of just the way it was. Nothing on their part, nothing really on our part. It just was a very stressful point. We worked through it, made it happen, and he helped us out, and it got done. That's just the best. But as racers, you have to understand, shit's gonna happen. You've got to be able to get through it. You got to be able to make it happen with whatever goes down, right? With whatever happens, you have to be able to handle it as a racer too. So, okay. All right. What else? Let's see what else we got on this books here. Guys, I just put a post out today Michael Pollan put it out. If you guys haven't seen it on the page, go read it. It's a little lengthy. They had, first time I called them, actually, well, yeah. Yeah, Jay said didn't get a call back for a couple hours. First time I called them, they actually picked up. Yeah, that's amazing because usually you get a machine, whatever. Michael Pollan put a post out about, man, guys, it was a rough weekend for drag racing. Hey. It was a rough weekend in drag racing. A couple guys got killed in a no prep situation down in Houston. First responders, that kind of thing. Car come off the track and hit them on a street race sanctioned by this village or by the town. So that happens. And people start complaining. Well, the bad thing about that is, guys, no different than our hobby. If we work together better, the better it becomes. And the guy said, yeah, guys scheduling on top of each other, within 2 hours of each other, 5 different races in 2 hours of one track, blah, blah, blah. We run into the exact same problems, guys. Everybody just needs to work together as much as they can. Luckily, not very often do we lose somebody at an RC race for injuries sustained while RC racing. So that's not as big a deal normally, but the fact that it can happen, or the fact that he put that post out today, and we really do need to understand that if we can work together, whether it be rules, whether it be scheduling, whether it be just be good to the guy next to you and help that guy as much as you can. I'm not expecting anybody to give out all their speed secrets, all their old top-notch, top-quality things. I'm not expecting that at all. But what I am expecting, guys, is if you want to race the best, you need to help that guy get better and better and better. Because eventually you're going to race that guy, and that guy is going to be out in front, or you're going to have to get around that guy. And wouldn't you rather him be a little bit better racer than not be a good racer and you have to try to get around him? He can't hold his line. His car's all over the place, and you could have helped him with a small detail to get his car a little bit better, and then he would be a better race, right? It'd be a better race. He would be a better racer for that. What are you doing? All right. So read that post. Take it for what you will. It's not about anybody. It's not about any certain track. There's nothing. It's just a community thing. I think that really needs to happen within the community, and I think it is. Okay. Yeah. Another question come up. What do you guys want to see when you go into a hobby shop at a track? What is it you guys want to see? Here's what I look at, and I feel is probably what we need to work with is probably would be a good idea to have the tires that you want guys to run. And you might not have 150 sets of them, but if you have a dozen sets, right? Something like that. Most guys are coming with tires, but in case somebody comes and doesn't have tires or they need tires, probably tires are a big thing, right? Maybe some of the more common broken parts. I don't know. That's the question. When you go to a hobby shop that's attached to the truck, what do you guys, as racers, what do you want to see? What do you want to see at that track or at that hobby shop? I mean, a hobby shop's not going to stock everything by any means. I mean, excuse me, do you stock a Losi Sprint? Do you stock a Traxxas Modified or late model? Something that a kid can get into and run without any problems? Reality of it is you're probably not going to stock a complete GFRP kit. You're probably not going to stock a Custom Works kit. not saying you'll never sell them, just saying that's a lot on your shelf sitting. And a guy is probably not going to buy that and race that night. You know what I mean? So just a thought. What do you guys think of that? I really think if a guy's going to get a spec tire in there, we probably need to have those tires available for them whenever they get here. All right, let's see. Tires and rims, probably the most important. Diff parts seem to sell quickly. Bearing, screw assortments. Yeah, okay. Right, wear items, something that a guy, I forgot the last one. I had it, but I used it last week, or I used it yesterday on my second day of racing, and I couldn't get it yet. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea, Ryan. He says tires, rims, probably most important. Diff parts seem to sell quickly. Bearings and screw assortments. Orange Crush says spurs and pinions. That's probably good too. Drake says common spurs and pinions, shock oil, common broken parts, tires. Most importantly, knowledge and help. Yeah, I think you're probably 100% there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think if you can afford it and your track is attached to a hobby shop, then great. Have a full line of everything you can think of. That's great. But you don't have to. I don't think that is necessary to have that, right? Especially at a dirt oval track. Kevin says a variety of parts for what the majority of your customers run, wheels and tires. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and you just have to figure that out, right? You know what I mean? So, just interesting to hear that and think about that, because as most places, guys, everybody's trying to get better, and that's something that we're trying to work with. We're trying to figure out. I stock all the mini mod parts because you can't get them. You can't go buy them. Joe says, generally I bring my own spares, although it's mostly for tuning since nothing breaks. Joe's running the Bulletproof Bandits, so which is not a lie by any means. Them things are durable. Parts for all brands. Ryan says, I see a lot of guys looking at paint like they want to see what color it's supposed to be instead of trusting the internet description. Yeah. If I could get a paint deal with somebody that I liked, I've always thought the best thing to do would be have it painted on Lexan, a sheet of Lexan, just paint it so they can actually see the color too, not what's on the can. What, baby? Up. Yeah, I see her. So that is another thing, but yeah, that's all good. That's something that I've always thought about. You know what I mean? Like, how much can you really stock? And honestly, it's afford to stock without charging a ton above what you could buy it for. Now, they're like most places, you can justify a little bit of convenience fee. Rick says, I keep extra front end parts, spur gears, bearings, carriers, and clips. Can never match them. Yeah, can never match the color. 100%, Tommy. Tools, scissors, never a bad idea either. Yeah. And that's something I noticed at the Thunderdome this weekend. There was a couple of guys, the bodies were rubbing pretty bad. And on that surface, guys, man, you really need to get them bodies up quick. Dirt will cause a hole. Carpet will cut the carpet if you're not careful, depending on where it's rubbing. So, but yeah, that's something else that's a good idea. And if you're gonna make them cut it instead of them buying it, you know what I mean? Here, buy a pair of scissors so you can cut it next time whenever you don't do it right either. So All right, guys, we're going to get into the last one of the hot topics. That hot topic is this. I put a poll out. How about you sit down over here a minute? Yeah, while we talk this. All right? You want to sit over there a minute? You want to talk? You okay? All right. RTR Cars and Trucks is where the hobby shop makes a lot of sales. I agree with that, Dennis. And that's what I said. Maybe you have a Losi Sprint or a Traxxas mod or a Traxxas late model. Just because those are your beginner classes, right? The ones that the guys are getting into. I really don't know that the hobby shop at a track is to make a ton of money if you are a track first. If you're a hobby shop first with a track, that's one thing. But if you're a track with a hobby shop, I think it's another, right? I really think the track with a hobby shop is nothing more than just to service your customer. A break, a new guy, something like that. That's probably where the questions or problems come in. You know what I mean? But I don't think a track with a hobby shop is going to be, like I said, I don't think a guy's going to buy a GFRP car or a Customworks kit, an LC kit, like we build a mini mods out of, on site. Now the LC kit, they might, because you got to order everything online. You can't even go to a hobby shop and buy that stuff. So you have to order all that anyway. So maybe they would that, but for the most part, because mini mods are great. I had to say it this week because we didn't last two. Maybe that's how that's going to work. Maybe you will sell a few trucks and cars, but for the most part, I think it's more about keeping your guys going if they run out of something and don't have it to fix it. And you won't do that either. There'll be a part where you don't have it. Guaranteed. Okay? Guys, I put out a poll last part of this, and we'll jump off of that. We'll jump into the deep end of the pool. I put a poll out about teching. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but the poll was very, very interesting. I think I disagree there. I think you're going to sell kits to guys looking to move up. Maybe. Sam, you might be 100%. I mean, it would be worth having one, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. The problem is which one. But maybe. Premier class, mini mods, premier class of Kempton Super Speedway. Well, if it was a super speedway, they might be. But there ain't no super speedway here, Kevin. I think Scuba had something about Premier. Put that in there, Scuba. What was your Premier question to Kevin this week? There's not enough profit margin selling mod kits to make it worth your time. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Ryan. I've not bought one, honestly. So, I'm a spec guy at this point, so I don't know anything about that. But, like I say, unless that's something that you're going to just move up to, What else was there? Oh, the poll I put out. So the poll I put out on spec stuff was this. You don't remember. We were just talking about the Thunderdome, something about being Premier. Not answering any questions, though. We're premiering them. Kevin's getting Premieritis. You brought it up, bro. It's on you. Everybody, so 42 people answered it on that part, and it was everybody wanted tech. 10 people said complete field, and 10 people said top 3. And the other 42 or 22 of you didn't give a shit, evidently. So, with that being said, how does a track do that? Lottery tech? I don't have a problem with that either. We were also talking about call outs, you know what I mean? But you got to be ballsy enough to call it out. And here's the problem that we're going to run into with this 42 people that want tech. You 42, about half of you are going to bitch because we're out till 3 in the morning. But you wanted tech. So tech takes more time. So therefore, when you have 100 cars or 150 cars and it takes you 8 to 10 hours. Kevin says, but here's the catch. You get random, you fail, you get your shit and get out. 100%. Christina says you couldn't find a bigger toy. Hey, Trace brought me toys, babe. This is what he bought me. They don't make noises, he said. So, that's what I'm working with tonight, Mama. You're right, Kevin. And that's, here's the thing about that is if I tech a guy, even if it's a call out, right? If I call you out, your shit better be right because it's coming. It might not be that round. Your shit's getting teched at some point. Right? And if you call somebody out for something you think they're cheating on and you fail, you can take your shit and go home too. Right? I mean, it's such a hard thing to do. The majority of your guys typically, there's a distinct line where guys run customers or GFRP. To Ryan's point, I agree, but it's more of an investment from the track to have more people racing and moving to the upper classes to bring in newer people. Yeah, I agree. You're gonna have a customer or GFRP guy, right? But you're just gonna move guys to the higher class. You're not gonna bring new people in. Skiba says, fuck Premier Tracks. I'll take the good old boy track. That's where the party is. Usually. There you go, Kevin. What do you think, girl? So, yeah, Stan, I see what you're saying. I mean, I understand the move up thing, the bump thing. But you're still not going to get him in at that quickly. And if a guy really wants to move up, he's going to get a car. I mean, that's how I see it. I really think a track, and I'm not saying it can't be done, and I'm not saying I won't do it. There's a chance I might end up with a rocket or something. You know what I mean? What do you want? You want this? Yeah. A Custom Works or something here or a GFRP car here, just because for somebody to have, right, to buy. But the reality of it is you never know what's going to, it's just a big investment. So there it is. So out of the 42 people that said they wanted tech, hey, how many of us are going to want to be here later? The random tech idea is a good idea. Hey. The random tech idea is a good idea, but and I think that's how you have to do it. I don't think you can take a whole field. It's hard because you have so much. So a new 13.5 late model tow tool was handed to us to look at on Saturday. Does someone know how it's actually used? Looked fairly easy to defeat. I don't know what tool you got, Ryan. Man, I'm telling you, I don't like the tow rule, guys. I promise you. I can promise you that the tow rule you can get around. I've talked to enough guys and I've thought about it and it can happen very easily. I don't like the tow rule. I'm not saying it's the worst rule in the world. Be nice. I'm not saying it's the worst rule in the world. I'm just saying rule in the world. I'm just saying I think the 13.5 late model tow rule is very easily, like Ryan says, easy to defeat. I think there's many people that have already and will continue. I think it's similar to what PT's had. I'm sure Joe will know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the reality of it to me, if that's the only rule that we really are worried about, and I think there's others too, but I really think that's a big stickler. And if that really happens, and that's the biggest rule we have to worry about, where's it at? We accidentally used a tow tech tool upside down and ran Cole's car with backwards tow all night at Jake's. Yeah. Tommy, club races no tech, and as if you're racing for a Facebook picture or trophy races, just random tech. Maybe one time a battery voltage on a couple cars. Next time, take the body measurements. Therefore, no one knows what you are teching or who's getting teched. I agree with that, Tommy. I like the idea. I really do. But here's the question, too. There's a lot of questions about body rules. I mean, there's so much gray area now. Everybody says DODC rules and then says you can deck the body. Well, then that's not DODC rules, right? So that's something, guys, that hopefully this winter we can get together with a group and iron out. But it really needs to be one way, and let's all get on it. Then the racers aren't confused. The racers aren't worried. The racers don't have to, you know what I mean? Oh, Moisture Nuts, what's up? So that's how that works. You know what I mean? We have to get a group or a way to do it. And here's why I say that, guys. Then we can all agree that, hey, we're going to take 3 guys from our track that are good guys that have been around a long time, along with the track owner / operator, and we are going to put them together, and we will put them together, and then they will all be taught how to tech the same way. I agree. So Joe says I'll send you some picture, Ryan. Joe, is that the same one that I have? Is the one Ryan's talking about? Let's see. Why a tow rule for the late model, but not the 360s? Basically the same thing. I agree, Chris. I think it should be on the 362 if we're doing it on a late model. I think it might calm that car down a little bit because the 360 Sprint and the 410s are damn near there together. Kevin says, calm down, Brian. You're early. We haven't got the snorkels out yet. Nope, we haven't. About time you got a smarter IT department. Yeah, I still have the old one, but I'm working with this one too. Sam says the drama that call-outs would create and bring to your track would be crazy, I think. Same thing goes for the attitude of get your stuff and go home. Holy shit, Sam. Get your stuff and go home. I feel like the embarrassment and frankly shame of getting popped and disqualification from the event publicly would stop a lot of stuff. Honestly, this is why I appreciate mod racing so much. There's no discussion of cheating other than tires. And I personally feel if you give someone the opportunity to cheat, they are the personality to cheat, they will. Disqualify them and make the disqualification public and move on to the next week. Lastly, I don't know about the random because then you'll have tracks magically never tech their buddies or guys that help them at the track, etc. I feel like it has to be your podium or something known like that, tech, and go from that. First, Sam, thanks for that. I understand what you're saying. Uh, I've had a guy come here and cheat the whole night. Nobody called him out. So guess what? We let him race. And at the end of the night, he tried to stick at my face. And we handled it after the show. We've talked about it on here, but, and I agree with your mod racing thing, but the problem is, we all can't go mod racing. If we put all the guys, and no offense to anybody out there not mod racing, two things. Guys don't want to buy tires every round. The expense to do that, they don't want to go mod racing. The other side of it is a lot of guys can't handle mod racing. That's where the crate late models came in. We didn't have that a few years ago. It came up, and it's helped a ton with the class. You being a mod racer, the mod guys would be very aggravated to have all the guys that are in spec in mod, so we don't have to worry about cheating. That'll never happen. It needs to not happen, but we need to have the lower classes to get guys better. That's why it's there. And believe me, as a track owner, I don't want to tech anybody, and I don't want to throw anybody out. But if a guy wins on a cheat, I'm pissed, and rightfully so. I understand the random tech too, guys. It would be tough. I would be fair. I would be open about it and very fair. I would probably tech my guys before I tech anybody else. The reality of it is, a lot of track owners wouldn't, and I understand your point to that, Sam. Good post, buddy. Rick says, that's like saying no RPM parts allowed yet. You can run RPM bumpers. Yes, there's so much gray. Probably if he's talking about slideways. Yeah, I had that same tool for check and tow. Just reading Poland's post you put up. Yeah, it was rough. 100%, Brian, it was. Yeah. Ryan says, yes, he was talking about slideways. Paisley's on here too. He said the same thing. Mod racing, where all the sponsored guys are, JJ says. There's a lot of sponsored guys there, but there's a lot of guys that aren't sponsored that are fast too. And in that group. I don't think you want me in mod, Brian says. That's for sure. That's why I'm staying in my lane. Yeah, I mean, it has to happen. But guys are going to cheat down there, and we all know it. There's always a gray area. The crate late model class helped the quality of racing in the mod late model. Yes, it did. 100%, Drake. And it will continue because those guys will get better over time, therefore turning around and having a better handle on the car when they get into mod. So, Kevin said we did a lottery at the Backyard Wits race. Was that the big race last year? I think I was there for that. You got a number and you signed in and ran a computer roulette. Your number came up and you got text. My number was one drawn. I don't discriminate, and I agree with Podium also. Drake says at least the back of the pack got better. So, what happened, baby? Yeah, what happened? So, but yeah, so that's how that works. Guys, it is going to be a touchy subject, and I don't know that there is an answer to any of it until ever. I can tell you, I think we're going to fight that fight until the end of time of teching. Okay, I didn't remember that was never mind. I ain't gonna go there, Kevin. We fight tech all the time, guys, and I think you're gonna fight it no matter what. They teched at Thunderdome this weekend. Carpet's a little different, in my opinion. They just check weight and battery. Brian says we're all here watching. Baby's in good hands. It might be a little corrupt by the end of the night, though. Yeah, well, she's with us every day, so it doesn't really matter. What, you want up here, huh? Oh, you want this? You don't know what you want, do you? So, but that's how it is, guys. I think it's more about understanding tech and being smart with tech and doing tech correctly, right? Than anything. And I think if a group gets together and we can teach that, make sure we have 3 or 4 guys that are normally at a track that can do it, along with the race owner, race director, track owner, whatever you want to call them, to be there also and understand it 100%, that would probably be the best for everybody. So, but it is tough, man. I'm telling you. I think, no. Chris, no. Chris says you want to sell any of the tax write-off. No. We fight that, guys. That is going to be a fight until the end. No matter what happens or who says what. Ryan says, I don't mind teching if needed. I just want to know I'm using the tools. Yes, 100%. Weasel says top 3 in each main, full tech if you win by more than 1 lap and tear it down. Yes. Sam says, I get the need for crate classes. Frankly, I most likely need to be in those classes myself rather than mod to get better. But the random tech, although perfectly handled by Kevin, how to describe the backyard when would you tech? Post A main with random number you couldn't, so opens up someone to pass tech and get in there. Yeah, get in their truck for 10 minutes post tech and make them illegal again. I think podium after A main might be the best, most legit way to level the field. I agree with you a lot on that, Sam. Here's what happened, and I'm not bagging on the guys at Thunderdome this weekend, but they teched it by weight and by battery, and then you took them across the room to a table to set them down. Well, what happens at that table? Nobody would have known. You really have to set up an area to do it, and we might next year. And I'm telling you, I don't want to have to do all this, but to make it a premier facility, I feel like you have to have tech. And if that's what you're shooting to do on big races, especially money races, I probably won't tech much for like the Shriner race. And I'll put it in my driver's meeting. If you cheat on a charity race, you're damned to hell anyway, right? So if you're racing for money, a prize pot, definitely. Kevin said we did random points, did it at random points of the night. And Ryan is agreeing with Munsterman that he probably can't use a voltmeter, let alone tech. I don't see what the bad feelings about tech are. If your shit ain't right, you ain't right. It ain't right. And if the track voltmeter is different than yours, it is what it is. Everyone's being checked by the same equipment. We had some questions about that a couple of times, Brian, once here this year and once last year when we did a bunch of tech. And that's why I let everybody do it early. I tell you, come up early. Come up early. You know what I mean? We did not check temperature of the battery, which we probably should have, but we didn't. But we did check battery voltage. And some guys were like, hey, that's how it is. You know what I mean? Whatever the voltage is on this meter. Well, this meter says something different. Well, I'm sorry. I can't help you with that. We're running this meter and everybody's running on the same, right? So, Kevin Smith, Tony, Dustin says Kevin Smith. Dan, Tony just said your favorite word. Well, yep. I'll do that for him. He seems to be a good dude, and I really think that's probably one of his favorite words. What are you doing? Brian says carpet oval techs before the cars hit the tracks. Dixie Nationals, they had a tech guy check every car every time. Kevin says he's just egging me on. I might be. Brian, yes. So that's how they did it up there too. Every round, it was just weight and voltage. Weight and voltage. So very simple. Put on there and check the battery voltage. Very easy. So the problem is you get into running tech on toe angles, body height. I can promise you there's a lot of slashes out there that are not 3/4 of an inch off the deck. In the slash street side class, the complete car, including the body, is supposed to be 3/4 of an inch off the ground. And I promise you, because they're digging into my track, a lot of them are not. Okay? Dustin said, Brian, I have no issue if it's a brand name meter, aka Fluke, not a knockoff Harbor Freight ones are reliable. Hell, our meter read 0.01 off from mine, so I guess we ran it down a little and continue to have fun for the night. We ran about a $4,000 Snap-on scope at the track. Dustin, I hope that would have been an approval for you. That's the way the Ohio State Oval Series does it. Weight and ride height, battery voltage, and blinky. Yeah. Yep. So that's the way it is. Guys, I think it's something we have to do. I don't know how else to say it. I think it's just something that needs to happen, and we really, really, really need to get better with it. You know what I mean? We really need to get more people on board, more racers understanding it, and more racers being able to not be afraid of tech. The IT department's hacking up a hairball here. Let's see here. I wholeheartedly agree with you on the slashes about ride height. There's a lot of them that are sitting low. Yeah. Brian says, Racer says, weekly show voltage is enough. Dustin says, Tony, that's fine. Just the generic ones I've seen used at other places that won't read the same twice. Yeah, I understand that. I understand. That's why I brought a good one home. Just the only time I can't stand tech is at the Chili Bowl, Justin. Yeah, I've never been to the Chili Bowl, guys. I would be very interested in seeing their tech. We're going to start. I think we're just going to mimic it, Justin, just for you. I like PT's ride height rule. Don't let it hit the track. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at, Drake, really. But slashes actually have a spec for that. 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch body and chassis all together. I promise you there's a whole lot of them very low. Okay. But yeah, that's just something we got to have, guys. We really have to figure that out. And I really feel like, and this is to track owners, operators, promoters, whoever you want to be that are not just racing. Okay. Guys, this tech problem, in my opinion, will go away a whole bunch, if we're all on the same page. If we can all get to doing the same exact tech every week with the exact same guys, you know what I mean? Like the exact same style, guys will get so accustomed to what's going on and understand it that they won't have that problem of bitching and pissing and moaning. You know what I mean? Paisley says 7 times to pass. Brian says, I set mine with a pack of cigarettes. A lot of people do. Yeah. I'll give you an example. For Chili Ball Sprint Tech, your side wing is too big. Bend it down with your fingers. Yep, you're good now. Walk up to the driver's stand and bend it back. You're oversight. Yeah, 100%. And if you don't think, no matter who you are, if you don't think that's happening, you're probably living under a rock. Or you're sleeping like this kid is now on me behind this bear. So yeah, that's what it is. There's so much stuff. I think she is, Mama. Mama asked if she's sleeping. I think she is. She's kind of kicking around a little bit, but I think she's about out here, guys. Not that it's going to matter. Hang on just a second. Let me move something real quick. Probably I'll see her better. No, she's got eyes open still. So, sorry guys, I had to move the camera so I could see if she was sleeping. But yeah, she's got an eyeball open over there. She's just hanging out with us. But yeah, so that's it, guys. There's so much. Shit, Tony Rogers, that happens to big cars all the time. Yeah, 100%, Dustin. Guys, we're all racers. No matter how you look at this deal, we are all racers, and we're all trying to get the advantage we can to be faster. Do you think, and I'm not calling names out here, but do you think these guys are sitting around all night, starting tonight? Some of them are doing it tonight. They've already admitted it. Working. You're right, baby. Working on their cars all week. And then they are tinkering, trying to get just that little bit extra. That little bit extra. Guys are doing it all week, every week, all the time. I know it. I've talked to guys doing it. I know guys right now that are doing it on the podcast. Listen to us bullshit, and they're working on some little thing that they think is going to make it turn better. Is that the gray area? Yeah, that's the gray area, right? But also, if you could make one little bump, then you're done. JJ says breakout racing takes care of all tech. Yeah. So does index racing and drag racing, and it sucks too. I mean, I like the 4.0 class. I thought that was pretty cool, but I can't do breakout. Our job is to cheat, and the tech guy's job is to catch it. No difference than trying to speed and not get a ticket. 100%. That's what it takes when you're chasing tenths. Yeah. Guys, that's what you're doing. All you're doing is just chasing the guy in front of you. And I don't... Here this year, everybody was chasing... Everybody was chasing Jeremy Morse for points and for running. I mean, the dude was stupid fast in the buggy street stock. Everybody's chasing him. And if you ain't digging for a point here, a point there, a 10th here, a 10th there, you're in trouble. My cars are down to the bare chassis, going through the entire car, doing this after every race. Yeah. Yep. I know, Tommy. That's what I'm saying. There's trying to find something if you need it, right? Or make sure it's right and then find something else. Drake says, unpopular opinion, there is no such thing as a gray area. I disagree with that. I mean, okay, so let's go to that. Let's jump on it, Drake. You stirred the pot. Let's go. So if there's no such thing as a gray area, the rules are not black and white. If it doesn't say it in the rules, then it's legal. Is that what you're saying? That's what we're saying is the gray area. If it doesn't say it in the rules, then that's the gray area. Let's see. I picked up 6 cents this weekend trying to get another 10th. Yeah. Yeah, Scuba worked hard on his car, getting it done. I have an idea for adjustable wing slider for 10th scale sprint car, Dustin says. Drake says, Dustin, you need to quit thinking. Dustin says, Drake, what about deck height on a buggy street stock? If it doesn't say it, you can't do it. If it doesn't say you can't do it, you can. Guy used to use Microsoft, yeah, to make their top wing slider, yeah. Batteries too, a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean to blow your eardrums out of that bump. So I see that, Drake. I see that. But another guy's going to say, if it's not stock and it doesn't say it in the rules, you can't do it either. You see what I mean? So that's where the gray area comes in. But I understand what you're saying too. If it's not in the rules, do whatever you want. Brian says once you get the new place lined out, he'll get back into it. Come on out, man. 9/10 you get next time. I don't want that weight that high on the high bike car. Yeah. With the servo sliding it. Baby. Yeah, there's guys, I agree. Gray area means you have a 2-word standoff at tech. Why and because. Well, the problem with the gray area or not, that's whatever's not written in the rules. If a guy gets way too much, getting away from the written rule too far, then they start writing a rule for you. Right? Talking about wrenching on cars like I used to. Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that used to. I used to when the boys were heavy in it, but I don't have it now because this place is a wreck right now, but it's getting taken care of. We're getting it together. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Trying different things, doing different things. I think that's all cool. And I think it needs to happen to make it as good as it can be. There's guys out there that are stupid fast, and you know what? They're doing something you ain't. And it doesn't have to be cheating. So, all right, guys. On that note, we're gonna jump. Man, I'm sorry about this, but guys, we're gonna shut off the recording here. We're gonna jump on over to the other side, and we're gonna jump into the deep